Welcome to the Patient First Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bryan Laskin, where I am looking to help increase the influence of today's engaged dentists. And frankly, I've got a big job to do, I think, because right now there's a lot of negative forces going on in the industry. I've talked about it on the podcast before. We've got wages exploding. Wages are exploding in dentistry. Our materials are all costing more. Inflation is affecting every single practice. And then we also have the insurance reimbursements, which have just been laughably horrible. And they're getting worse. While during the shutdown, the dental insurance companies kept getting their premiums from patients. They didn't see anybody. And then what did they do? When we get back to work, they cut our premiums. So there's a lot of negative forces going against dentistry right now. And so I'm going to ask a rhetorical question. Isn't it time that dentists got a pay increase? The answer is obviously a yes. Now you might say, hey, Dr. Laskin, that's self-serving because you yourself are a dentist and you want a pay increase. Sort of. However, we all want pay increases. However, I don't see patients very much anymore. But I just see, as you'll see in a little bit, there's some quantifiable trends which are horrifically bad for the industry. When you look at a healthcare provider, dentists take at least 4 years, sometimes up to 8 years more schooling than somebody who graduates from college. Very specialized, somebody who is, a healthcare provider. And the trends, what's going on in the industry, anybody who's listening to this podcast today will answer absolutely yes, dentists need a pay increase. There's some horrible statistics, and these are all pre-shutdown, pre-COVID numbers, which are frankly staggering. The first one is that 4% of dentists can retire financially free by the age of 65. 4% of dentists can retire by the age of 65. And in fact, the average retirement age for a dentist in the last several years, and these are pre-COVID numbers, so again, this is going to be worse soon. The average dentist could retire in about 2015, it was age 64. In the year 2021, it was 69. So in the last several years, the average age of the dentist went from being able to retire, went from 64 to 69. That is brutally horrible. And it's even worse when you think of what the average American retires at, which is the age of 62. So the average dentist today, I think it's probably going to be in the 70s now, but let's go with the last statistics that are published. Retires at the age of 69 versus the average human in the United States who retires at the age of 62. So that means that dentists take 7 years longer to retire. I don't think it's because, boy, we just love placing matrix bands. And man, I just love seeing cavities and I just can't wait to, no, it's because dentists aren't financially free. That's why they retire 7 years longer than 7 years later than the average person. Hopefully these statistics will make you go like this. They blow your mind. If you don't deal with it every day, if you're not paying attention to it, if you're just going to your office, you're doing your best for your patients and you're collecting a paycheck, or maybe you're paying associates, or maybe you are an associate, you're collecting a paycheck. While there's been money thrown at everybody from the government and a lot of people just are staying home, and instead of being a server, they're trying out their YouTube channel and they'll probably retire by the age of 62. The dentists that are going to the office every day doing their best for their patients are on average going to retire at the age of 69, 7 years later than the average person. And I don't think that is good for anybody. I think it's horrible. The bottom line is that the burden is going to fall on those of us who are producing dentistry to have some big ideas so that you can get paid more. And it's totally within your power to do so. You can be more productive. Silver lining, I believe, comes from the restaurant industry. I just heard that the restaurant industry is producing about 8% more revenue post-pandemic than pre-pandemic. So after the shutdown, the restaurant industry is actually up about 8%. And that's in a time when employees who work in restaurants are down 7%. So the average cost of an item in a restaurant has also gone up 7%. So it's about a wash when you think about what restaurants have raised their prices versus what their revenue is. So they actually are producing more and charging more with less people. Why? How did they do it? How did the restaurant industry come out of a shutdown where the restaurants are completely shut? They couldn't see anybody in their restaurants at all. And they came on the other side of that, producing more for less. The reason why is because they had to. They were forced to. They did not have a choice. Their restaurants were closed. They couldn't see people in their restaurants. And they knew that this was going to go on for a while. We have social distancing and masks, and people are afraid to go outside. Yet they came out the other side of this pandemic. Hopefully we're on the other side of this pandemic, producing more with less people. It's because they had to. They had to figure it out. I think that dentists need to figure it out because what's happening with us is a lot slower. It's like the frog that gets boiled in water, right? The heat is getting turned up on the stove with the frog inside the water in dentistry, and we're losing our profitability and we don't even know it. And we're going to look back and not be able to retire till the age of 75 unless you do something about it. So I've put together what I think hopefully is an answer for a lot of you listening. It's called the Insanely Productive Dentist Workshop Series. So you can get more done, produce more, make more with less effort. I'll give you a 100% money back guarantee. We have all sorts of other great gifts that if you sign up for the workshop series. If you try it out for your first month and it's not for you, don't worry. It's 100% money back guarantee. So that I'm taking on all the risk, but it's designed to at least 10x your money back. So, I mean, for every dollar you give me, if I'm not producing 10 times the value, I would be shocked. And frankly, I want to give you your money back because it doesn't work. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for me. These are the tools that help you achieve your goals. And frankly, I want your goals to be bigger because I think the problems we have in the industry are bigger. And if I'm really, truly looking to increase the influence of today's engaged dentists, I have to help you make more so that you can increase your influence. I think that that's a big part of what I'm trying to do right now. So to learn more, we have 3 great gifts for you, including I'm giving you a $500 gift towards the tuition for the Insanely Productive Dentist Workshop Series. It's easy to get started. And again, 100% money back guarantee. Just go to upgradedental.com/go. Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you in the Insanely Productive Dentist Workshop Series.